a warship that vanished into thin air, only to reappear 300 miles away. Its crew either fused into its metal hull or gone for days. That's what happened during the Philadelphia experiment, a secret US government project from World War II, where scientists successfully made an object invisible to radar and possibly invisible to the naked eye. What happened next defies belief, logic, and science. The US wanted to break the rules of reality itself. What did they do? Let's start at the beginning. 1943. World War II rages across the globe. Hitler's U-boats terrorize the seas. Things are tense. The US wants to make a ship invisible to enemy radar. If undetected, ships could sneak past enemy lines, deliver powerful strikes, and then get out before they're detected and attacked. It would be genius, almost like magic. Magic that Albert Einstein himself might have helped with. Yes, that Albert Einstein. Rumor says he did. Officially, he didn't. Einstein worked on the project, officially studying radar and how to beat it. But others claim he did more. Some say he and famous inventor Nikola Tesla worked in secret. The theories vary, but both men supposedly helped develop a way to bend light around an object, creating an invisible force field. If true, this discovery could end the war and change the world forever. The plan was called Project Rainbow. The site, Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The ship, USS Eldridge, a small Navy vessel. October 28, 1943. The Eldridge sits quietly. Aboard the ship, 11 men prepare for history. The experiment begins. Scientists set up massive machines that create powerful electric and magnetic fields. The goal? Bend light around the Eldridge, making her invisible to radar. Suddenly, a green-blue glow engulfs the ship. Then she vanishes. Witnesses claim she reappeared 300 miles away in Norfolk, Virginia, only to return to Philadelphia minutes later. That's not possible. But people say it happened. But when the Eldridge docked, things were very wrong. The crew staggered off the ship, disoriented and confused. Some were screaming, others silent. One man said, "It's no use. I'm outside of time." Another said he could see his own death. A third, Carlos Allende, would later tell his story to the world. Let's rewind a bit. On board the Eldridge was a man who would become famous for his name alone. Carlos Allende. He joined the Navy at 17. Soon became a chief specialist in radar. Allende's job aboard the Eldridge was to operate a special camera that could see invisible objects. On the night of October 28, 1943, he saw the impossible. When the machines kicked on, the Eldridge was enveloped in a green-blue cloud. She vanished. When she reappeared, he noticed something terrible. The ship's crew were different. One man had turned completely white, like bleached by the sun. Another man's head looked like a jack-o'-lantern, carved with a smile that split his face in two. They were fused to the ship's metal hull. Some were stuck in place, unable to move. Others seemed fine, but they, too, had changed. One man sat calmly, smoking a cigarette. Another stared blankly ahead. Carlos approached them. None had any idea who he was. He asked a man with a friendly smile how long he'd been in port. The man replied, "I don't know. How long has the experiment been going?" In shock, Allende watched as other sailors walked through walls, as if they weren't there. Some crewmen vanished and returned days later, claiming they'd been to another time. Others disappeared altogether, never to be seen again. The Navy sealed the Eldridge's fate. No one was allowed to speak about what they'd witnessed, even under penalty of court-martial. Carlos Allende, however, couldn't keep it in. The story goes, he told his tale to anyone who'd listen, even penning a letter to the editor of Reader's Digest. His letter was published November 16, 1943. But when Allende's went to work the next day, the Navy was waiting. They grilled him about the letter, demanding to know why he divulged state secrets. Afraid of going to prison, Carlos wrote a retraction. That same day, he got on a train to Washington, D.C. He planned to find someone in the Navy Department who could help clear his name. But while in transit, he suffered a heart attack and died. Some say it wasn't a heart attack at all, but an assassination ordered by the Navy. Maurice Jessup takes the stage. Enter Maurice Jessup, a writer who became obsessed with UFOs and other mysteries. He penned books such as The Case for the UFO Handbook and The Menace from the Stars. He was also the first person in history to file a UFO sighting with the government. The year 1944, Jessup received a letter from a sailor who witnessed the Philadelphia experiment firsthand. The sailor spoke of strange lights, deafening noises, and crew members who came back from nowhere and didn't belong. He signed it. One who saw. Maurice Jessup became fascinated. He began corresponding with the sailor and investigating the Philadelphia experiment. But the closer he got to the truth, the more danger he faced. In fact, Morris Jessup didn't die a natural death. One day he opened a letter. Inside was a note reading, "You are in grave danger. Stop all investigation." Then he suffered a heart attack and died. Next thing you know, Carlos and Morris are dead, both silenced by the shadowy forces protecting the Philadelphia experiment. Okay, so we have a secret experiment, a ghost ship, crew members fused to the deck, and crew members who vanished in time. So what really happened? People started asking questions. Did it happen? Yes. Did it not? No. Was it some kind of We don't know. We do know that the Navy released a report denying the Philadelphia experiment ever took place. But is that enough to convince you? There's evidence suggesting the experiment was real. In 1955, a journalist investigated. He interviewed dozens of witnesses, including a Navy captain. The captain confirmed the experiment, explaining how the crew were exposed to intense electromagnetic radiation. But that still doesn't explain the teleportation, time travel, or the fused crew members. Here's a theory. The ship was not invisible, but hidden from radar, a device similar to a stealth bomber. This may have caused the crew to see strange things. Maybe some even fell into another time. But that's just a theory. So, let's explore other possibilities. Did the Navy cover up the Philadelphia experiment? Why would they? In 1955, the New York Times printed a story about the experiment. The article claimed it was a hoax, but many witnesses claimed otherwise. It seems the Navy wanted the public to believe it was a hoax. So why cover up such a crazy story? Maybe because it was true. Maybe the technology developed was too advanced, and revealing it would cause panic or harm national security. We can't know for sure. Was it all a hallucination? One theory claims that intense electromagnetic radiation caused crew members to experience hallucinations. Some saw the ship in another time. Others saw their own deaths, or tapped into a higher plane of existence. This could explain the changes in behavior as well. Each crew member experienced the radiation differently, leading to different effects. But what about the man fused to the ship? Did they just hallucinate that too? Not likely. This could have been a side effect of the radiation, but it may have also been a real physical reaction. These men stood on the ship's metal deck when the machines activated. Perhaps the invisible force field anchored them to the ship. Did the men vanish in time? The most popular theory claims the Philadelphia experiment was successful. The ship was cloaked in an electromagnetic force field, which bent light around her. This made her invisible to radar. But the theory says something else happened as well. The force fields created a tear in space-time. The ship disappeared to an unknown location in time. Then, when the experiment was reversed, the ship popped back into the timeline. This could explain the crew members who returned days later. They simply spent those days traveling in time. This could also explain why some crew members were stuck on the ship. They were literally stuck in another time. Okay, so here's what we know. A ship vanished and reappeared. Her crew were affected in strange ways. Some vanished. Others returned after days. Some were fused to the ship. Others saw their own deaths. And some simply seemed fine. The story was covered up. Witnesses died mysteriously. Records vanished. Could the US government be hiding the truth about the Philadelphia experiment? Could it be covering up proof that time travel exists? Or maybe the government knows nothing. It could have all been a bizarre hallucination. Maybe a cover-up to hide that fact. The choice is yours. Do you think the Philadelphia experiment was real? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And make sure to subscribe for more videos like these.